Today we're talking about ArcelorMittal USA, and our guest is Beth Spurgeon, who's the Corporate Responsibility Manager for the US, and that's a pretty big job. They have 27 facilities and 18,000 employees in the US.
Thank you so much, Mary, for having me here today. Honestly, I'm humbled because I saw all of your names popping up. You're the true experts. I'm just a lowly practitioner. So I'm so humbled to be speaking with you today, and I'm really excited to get all of your questions and your feedback. I'm also absolutely thrilled because we're about to publish our third integrated report in 2 weeks. So we're very, very close, and sending it to leadership review it now, so I'll be able to take a vacation after that. But you are looking at our 2016 report still. And to give you a little bit of background of how we came to reporting at ArcelorMittal, ArcelorMittal is the largest steelmaker in the world. We're a global company that's headquartered in Luxembourg. And annually, we do have reporting coming out of our Luxembourg office for the full global entity. But what we realized very early on in sustainability reporting at ArcelorMittal is that we really needed country level reports. That being such a large company, the overarching report didn't truly apply to our stakeholder needs or truly drilling down as material at each of the country levels. So in the United States, we've been reporting in some form on sustainability since 2009. And it started out really small, like most companies do, where you get this, very short report, and you're just starting to report in ways that may make people feel uncomfortable, but you're taking baby steps in the corporation. And looking back to that first report, I honestly cannot believe the progress that we've been able to make throughout the years. Our next big jump was into integrated reporting, but in between that, we started releasing what we called our fact book. So we continued to release a sustainability report, but we had a separate fact book that really got to more of the financial issues of our company for our employees as our main stakeholder in that regard. And this had a lot to do with the fact that we have a unionized workforce and wanted to make sure that we were effectively communicating to our employees and the greater stakeholders in the community what financial issues were impacting them and how. So that started in 2012. And we started, learning more about the integrated reporting philosophy and really seeing it as an important step and driver in the reporting journey that I think all of us as corporations are taking right now. We love GRI. We think GRI is amazing, but we felt that we weren't fully encapsulating how our company was interacting with our stakeholders and in the world through just reporting on GRI. And so the way that we really came into integrated reporting was in our 2015 report was our first integrated report 3 years ago. And with that, where we started and then really the basis of that was our sustainability report combined with our fact book, and then really integrating the principles of IIRC, touching upon SASB, as well as GRI as the basis and foundation for the report. So as I said, we're about to publish our 9th report overall in about 2 weeks, and really looking forward to it.
Great. So I have us open on the homepage of your 2016 integrated report, and really, I think you have both a website and a fully downloadable report, right?
Correct. So what we used to do is just have a printed report before we started integrated reporting. And then with our first integrated report, we switched to a fully online report, which includes an interactive data table, as well as videos, PDF of the entire report, and an additional executive summary that we do print for stakeholders as well.
Got it. So I'm just kind of scanning that first page, and then this nav bar really is like the table of contents, if you will, right, of the online report.
Absolutely. So we have the report just broken out under that sustainability line of the nav bar.
Okay.
And that is essentially our report. The first section is resilience / big picture, and that's our CEO messaging, sustainability leader messaging. For the online version, we put our performance data there. On our PDF version, it's a data table at the back, and the about this report information. The second is our business information. And so that's really where we provide organizational overview, operating context, and financial value creation. And this was really new for us. We never before integrated reporting really spoke to the operating context within which our company lives. Yep. And I think it was a huge jump for us that really brought us to a whole nother level of being able to speak to all of our stakeholders that are reviewing these reports. Right. The next is our strategy. And again, this is a big step for us of integrating our business strategy into everything we do. And how talking about not just from a business strategy perspective, but also how that business strategy aligns and is intertwined with sustainability. And our final area is called our 10 Sustainable Development Outcomes. And that's that third bar. And it's definitely the bulk of our report. Our report is fairly long. Currently, it's about 130 pages. We really slimmed it down this year and cut a whole 3 pages from the PDF. So pretty excited about that.
Good.
It's integrated reporting. But our 10 outcomes are what we consider are how we view the company moving forward in sustainability. The Sustainable Development Outcomes were launched in 2015. And each one is around some form of our business and our strategy and how we integrate with our stakeholders. Something that was extraordinarily innovative that I felt we did at the time is we knew that we needed to move forward with our 10 Sustainable Development Outcomes, and we didn't want to wait to make sure that we had associated KPIs because we knew that process would take longer. We wanted to get them out there, ensure that our stakeholders knew how important these things were to us, start talking about them, cultivate them within the organization, and now we're going through the process of assigning global and local KPIs to each Sustainable Development Outcome. Got it. That's where you'll see the bulk of information in our report. That's the more traditional GRI information. Got it.
So then I've opened a couple other windows of things that we had talked about before that I thought would be helpful for folks. This is early on in the written report. This kind of talks about your 10 outcomes. I always love these graphics because they kind of tell you what people are thinking about.
Yeah, so the theme of our report last year was developing resilience. And of course, we all see resilience as a big buzzword right now. For us, it really resonated last year because of the idea of having a resilient business, resilient customers, and resilient communities is really what the core of our company is in order to be a sustainable company. So we kind of joke, we didn't fully actually label our graphic, but the graphic internally we call our Venn for Good diagram.
That's good.
Of how we want to envision ourselves, with resilience, and we want to see, what's good for the planet, what's commercially viable still for our business, how we can address those sustainability concerns for our customers, and position Mittal for long-term financial sustainability. Yep. And you can see sort of wrapped around it then are our 10 Sustainable Development Outcomes, as well as one of the ways that we see as being a core driver for a company such as ours to continue to be sustainable is that R&D innovation piece.
Yep. Yep. So this is great. I love this because it's saying what your integrated view is of your business, and when you're mixing business and internal, external, financial, you're covering kind of all the bases. So that's great.
Absolutely. I think it's really driven us into a whole new way of thinking and performing as a company and as a sustainability department.
So I'm going to jump over. You have a novel way of showing the capitals, and so I just thought I'd share that. I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. So the way that we broke it out is really trying to show how all of the capitals interact with our core strategic focus as a company, but in one place, right? Because the report was already long enough. But we wanted to make sure that we were touching upon, again, not only how the 6 capitals are integrated with each of those strategic focuses, whether they be our assets, our people, our customers, or our value, but also how all of those strategic focuses, I think it's so easy for all of our companies to become siloed, which is, of course, the opposite of integrated thinking in design. And so it was showing how across the board, when we're, as an example, under our assets, optimizing assets, that's hitting upon several capitals. It's financial, it's manufactured, it's intellectual, it's human, and it's natural. And the different ways that you could argue that all of these things integrate and touch each other.
That's great. And you know, you mentioned getting towards KPIs. I mean, I know it's a long way from happening, but someday you could almost think of this being a way of indicators and data being organized as well.
That's my dream would be to continue.
I know.
And I think it's great. With each year, we've made stronger progress towards defining and refining how we want to measure. And I think, you know, one of the great assets is, again, an integrated thinking of not only how you can integrate the data into things like capitals, but as well in a visual way to show that connection to one another.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm just going to jump over, and this one's a little harder to see, but I thought it was interesting just to share, you know, this is a stakeholder analysis. Let me see if I can position it on the page a little better. Here we go. So if you don't mind just kind of talking to this about the process behind it.
Yeah, so this is actually our global matrix for how we interact with our stakeholders. And, you know, we wanted to really list out not only who all of our stakeholder groups are, but then how we truly interact with them. Because what we've seen in a lot of reports is just a listing of customers, employees, suppliers. These are our major people, and we interact with them. And what I like about this table, although unfortunately it is a bit hard to read, and we keep playing with how do we make this a little better, but it's really getting to what their issues are, how we engage, and what value we can continue to provide in that relationship. And, you know, I think it's easy for a person in our shoes in reporting to assume that people might understand already that these are things that are happening. But I think it's actually very eye-opening for many of our stakeholder groups to see how much we've thought through our stakeholder engagement planning and work. And I think especially, you know, when you think about employees as being a major stakeholder group, to actually be able to see how in-depth we get with them, planning with them, with their other stakeholders and what they're a part of, I think that's really made an impact as well.
Well, and then that comes full circle back to how you talked about the origin, where, you know, being able to communicate with the unions in an integrated way. It is respecting them and, you know, informing a better relationship.
Absolutely. Our complete goal with all of our reporting is to be transparent and helpful to all of our stakeholders with the information we provide.
That's great. So I had one last thing. This is just a data table, but I love to highlight when people have multiple years of data, because again, that's where we all want to get to, right?
Yeah, so originally I was actually lobbying to have all of our data since the beginning of reporting in here, and I got nixed. They told me 5 years, that's the most that we should probably do for any stakeholder really wanting to review and see. But I do think the comparisons are extraordinarily helpful, because these are every single issue that we're reporting on in the data table are very important issues to our key stakeholders and are very material to our company. So making sure that we can see an over time evaluation of that, I think, is absolutely critical. And that's what I also like about our online report is we have interactive data tables as well, where you can see them change and grow.
Right, right. I didn't include that, but we won't flip through it all. But it's worth anybody's time if you want to go in and spend some time looking at the report, and you can get to it from our website as well. We have a list of example reporters, and Arcelor Mittals right there at the top of the alphabet. So hope you check it out. So I think what I'll do is I'll turn off the recording now, and thank everybody who's watching the recording for joining us, and invite you to join in the conversations that we have each month next time.